Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below.
Greetings once again, Pokemaniacs. Duuz-Diz-Din back again. More of the Pokemon Adventures manga. Now, been under the weather, so my voice is a little bit husky, so I hope you'll bear with me through this video, and hopefully along the way I'll get my voice back right. But previously, after Black was informed by Clay about the plan by the gym leaders to ambush the members of Team Plasma, who they know have been monitoring them, Black, in order to prove himself, defeats Clay. They've implemented a plan to make it seem that Lenora is none the wiser about what Team Plasma is after, but in truth, she is the one who told them exactly what the Dark Stone is. Zekrom, the legendary Pokemon. As the Shadow Triad attacks Lenora's museum, Clay takes Black in order to meet the other gym leaders, but Skyla is unconvinced as she feels that there is a type of murkiness in Black's soul that he needs to expunge before the battle ahead. Convenient, as he did want a gym battle against Skyla. As the battle ensues, Black realizes that he hasn't been forthcoming with his Pokemon about exactly what he's trying to do here. So after a bit of heart-to-heart to his Pokemon, he does manage to defeat Skyla, allowing a little bit more honesty into his soul. Thus, he and the gym leaders arrive on the scene to take on the Shadow Triad. But as it turns out, they'd been given a trump card by one of the 7 sages just in case they got into a bit of trouble. On top of that, the leader of Team Plasma, quote-unquote leader, is now on the move, ready to do battle himself. Things are heating up and we're barely halfway through. What'll happen next? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, Pokemon Adventures Black and White, Volume 6. Pay no attention to my deep voice while we go through this. I'm hoping I can correct it along the way. Okay, so we mainly have White here. And what were these Pokemon's names? Meloetta? I actually can't remember for the life of me. I do remember them though. I mostly know the green-haired form. Then you have Bianca, and then you have Ingo and Emmett. I love their little boom, boom, boom movement. Make me think of Ida from My Hero Academia. And you have Deerling in its, I'm actually not sure. It's one of its other forms. Okay. I wonder if there's significance to White being on the cover by herself instead of having Black there. Because while White is a major component of all this, it is Black's story for the most part. But this is Volume 6, if you're going by the Viz Media translation. But in actuality, it is Volume 48. We're almost at Volume 50, y'all. Let's jump in. Bianca plays the flute, a flautist, if you will, flouting her abilities. Okay, and the Who's That Pokemon for this chapter is Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus, Part 1. Part 1? Oh, one of many, okay. It's adventure number 36, Museum Showdown. We have all of the gym leaders of Unova backing the Shadow Triad of Team Plasma into a corner. Lenora orders her Patrat to use Retaliate against one of the Shadow Triad's Basculin. Lenora calls out Skyland. She says okay. There we go. She tells her Unpheasant to use Razor Wind against the Basculin. Ooh, giving it the 2-piece combo. Nope, still there. As Black has front row seats to the tussle on top of Skyla Swanna, Black says their combination attacks are amazing. Lenora's battle skills are even more impressive than last time. Lenora calls out, "Long time no see, Black. Not since our gym battle. Leave this to us. We'll take care of Team Plasma. Your job is inside the museum." Okay, that's a little bit more practical. He's a capable young man, but he's still, very new to this, and it's not like he's sanctioned for a lot of this stuff. Hawes calls out to Black saying, "I need help over here. Team Plasma has broken through the back door." So the Shadow Triad is the vanguard, as you will. A bit of a distraction for the real operation to take place, just in case. Black calls out, "I'm on my way. Thanks for flying me here, Swanna," he says as he jumps down and hits the ground running. Team Plasma has flooded the museum, calling out, "Has anyone found it?" No, not yet. it's not over here. It's actually kind of funny. They really do their best to make it so that you know that these are, I guess, just ordinary people. From what I know about the next story arc, that I think plays a major component in a certain person's storyline. One of the grunts says, "Where did they hide it? Huh, those gym leaders are so sneaky. The library area in the back looks suspicious. Everyone's searching there." Only for several grunts to be blasted by a wave of fire. Someone calling out, "Stop! Get out of here!" is Black with all of his Pokemon. I forgot to check. Yep, there's an Emolga. So, gotta get out my favorite Pokemon. So, you got a Emolga. Because I forgot how cute the little guy is. And I really don't have too many Pokemon I know from this region. But I also grew fond of Galvantula too. Alright, let's mosey on. Black comes bursting in with his Pokemon saying, "You'll never get the Darkstone or Zekrom." He has Galvantula use Electro Web on some. He has Tortuga to use Brine on others. He has Embor to use Ember to surround others with fire. And he has these Team Plasma grunts on the ropes. Shoot, if you didn't know it, you'd think he was the bad guy in all this. Black calls out to the grunts, "If your evil plan to release a legendary Dragon-type Pokemon stands in the way of my dream of winning the Pokemon League, then I'll do everything in my power to crush you." Yeah, see, I said it before thinking that it was profound, but I gotta say, that's not really a very noble ambition, all things considered. Meanwhile, the Shadow Triad are sweating up a storm, saying, "Unbelievable. You gym leaders deceived us. Let's see, 6 of them, 3 of us. That means we each take on 2. Oh, y'all really ready for that?" The leader gives out orders. Turning to the one on his left, he says, "You fight Clay and Elisa. I'll deal with Lenora and Skyla. And you get," the one on his right says, "Berg and Bryceland. All right. All set? Go." And they dash off. We have one member tell his Lilligant to use Quiver Dance. Clay says to his Excadrill, "I'll drill holes into you before you even get the chance to attack." Ooh, but Lilligant manages to leap over Excadrill. It's commanded to use Mega Drain on Excadrill, doing some fierce damage. Oh, but before Excadrill can be sucked dry, Elisa commands her Emolga to use Aerobatics, knocking the Lilligant off of Excadrill. Clay calls out, "Thanks, Elise. Even though we outnumber them, I can't afford to let my guard down." Bryson finally speaks, saying, "Defeat is the fate of those puffed up with pride." Ooh, as he and his, I can't remember its name, Triagonal, stand next to what seems to be a defeated Berg with his Whirlipede. Bryson faces off with another member of the Shadow Triad, wielding a Larvista. Hasta la vista. Like that joke has never been said. The Shadow Triad member says, "A martial arts stance. Come to think of it, isn't there a former action movie star who became a gym leader, who was forced to retire from the show business after getting injured? What a sad has-been." But it doesn't seem that Bryson gives in to the provocation. With a shout, he commands his Triagonal to attack, while the Shadow Triad member, without even dictating orders, has his Larvista attack with Flame. Ice versus Flame. Not a great matchup. Or is it? And Triagonal is purely ice type, so fire should do great damage to it. Watching the clash, Berg thinks to himself, "The fire and ice attacks are clashing, but Bryson is clearly at a disadvantage." The Shadow Triad member hollers with glee, "Your ice has turned to harmless crystals before it could even reach me." But Bryson calls out, "Pathetic." The Shadow Triad member questions, "What?" striking a new battle stance. Bryson tells him, You use verbal attacks in vain, attempting to shake up your opponent. A cowardly strategy. The likes of you can never rattle me." Oof. Oh, suddenly the Shadow Triad member's Larvistar, I don't know what's happening to it. Like it's been sent flying? The Shadow Triad member questions, "What?" "Oh, it's being pulled in." The Triad member questions, "Chains of ice? When do you create this?" As Bryson watches, he thinks, "Amazing. Triagonal originated from Arctic clouds, and they capture their prey with chains of ice." Bryson used La Vista's fire to shatter the ice, causing the ice crystals to fly through the air and create that chain. The member calls out to the others, saying, I need your help. The one with the Lilligant and Basculin go in for the attack, going after Cryogonal. Lilligant uses Hyper Beam, while Basculin uses Aqua Tail. I would have thought the Basculin was down, considering that two-piece combo it got previously. Oh, Cryogonal seems to just fade away. The Triad member mocking Bryson, saying, your Pokemon just melted away. Meanwhile, Berg thinks, yeah, it disappeared, yes. However, Cryogonal has turned into water vapor. And now, as Bryson strikes a stance, breathing out deeply, he simply says, completion. The chains of Cryogonal jolt out. Ooh, wrapping up all three members of the Shadow Triad, as well as their Pokemon. Ooh, nice. See, that's a good way to show off while Bryson is probably the toughest one there. Bird calls out, what an artistic and fantastic battle. Lenore says, Bryson certainly is full power. Is powerful. Alicia says, this is the first time I've seen him in battle. Even Skylar is taken aback, saying, wonderful. Clay gives a tip of the hat, saying, yeah, and he's the only one who hasn't been injured. Struggling in the Cryogonal's grasp, the Triad saying, we must not fail. We must procure the Darkstone for our king. Lenora then addresses Haas, saying, king, huh? In fact, didn't you use the same words when you arrived? Babbling something about for our king? The dragon-type Pokemon? Haas gives a nod, while Clay says, this king must be the boss of Team Plasma. Well then, you're gonna guide us to your so-called king, and to your headquarters, Clay says as the gym leaders loom in on the Shadow Triad. The bound Triad simply says, that won't happen. We've staked everything on this mission. Suddenly, there's a rumbling in the cloud. The gym leaders on full alert. The sky parts. Light streams out. Inside, Black looms over the downed members of Team Plasma, telling his Pokemon, that's half of them, but there's still more in the library and back. But he's shaken by a rumbling from outside. Oh, that reverberates inside. Black looks around, aghast, saying, the museum is shaking. I felt this before. Black dashes outside, calling out, Clay, what's happening? Clay turns, trying to stop him, saying, stay inside. You shouldn't have come out here. But it's too late as Black looks to the sky, seeing the forces of nature looming large over the gym leaders, ready to attack. Ooh, okay, I thought that was going to be the end of the chapter. Attack they do, unleashing winds and rain and lightning and earth all upon the gym leaders and Black, sending them flying up in a flurry of destruction. Lenora says, Tornadus, Thunderous. Skylar says, even Landorus. Alicia notes, the legendary Pokemon my grandmother told me about. Yeah, this really wouldn't be the way you want to be introduced to the Pokemon that inspired you. Berg says, I can't believe Team Plasma captured. Clay finishing, saying, all three of them. Even Bryson is shocked. Black tries to move towards Clay, calling out to him, but Clay tells him, I told you to stay put. Have you forgotten what Lenora asked of you? Ooh, jeez. Black calls out, but, and as Clay is pelted with rock after rock, he says, don't get too full of yourself, Black. You might think being six of us makes you our equal, but you're still an ordinary trainer, not a gym leader. Just do as you were told and protect the museum. You can't help us here, Clay says as blood streams down his face. And it's been a while since we've seen blood that clearly. Oh, but in a moment of panic, maybe because of his friendship with Clay, maybe because of his anger, maybe his sense of nobility. It's hard to say in the moment, but anger overtakes Black, and with a shout, he dashes forward to one of the forces of nature, only for him to be struck. Oh no, only for Pig Knight. I think I called it something else previously, but Pig Knight goes and strikes one of the forces of nature, Landorus, in the back, much to even the shock of Black. Landorus has a look of, you dare? Grabs Pig Knight by the throat and begins to squeeze as Black calls out to Pig Knight, despite the fact that Landorus is squeezing the life out of Pig Knight. Landorus hasn't forgot about what it came here to do. The chains of Cryogonal shatter, falling off of the Shadow Triad and their Pokemon. And with that, the Triad watches the forces of nature consume the gym leaders in a vortex of destruction. The Triad then all say, it appears the tide has turned. There's nothing you can do now. except make your exit. Oh, that's what's happening. In a moment of shock and horror, Black calls out, no, no! And in that moment, Pignite evolves, baby. Ooh, it took me a second to realize what was happening when its tusk grew. Pignite evolves into Embor. I think I called it Embor before. I didn't think it was going to evolve in this chapter, though. Embor manages to swat away Landorus's hand around its throat. Oh, come on. As we switch to a different scene. Oh, okay. I guess we're inside of Team Plasma's castle. As we observe N walking through its hallowed hall. Or maybe he's in another location? Okay, no, he's at the Dragon Spiral Tower. Okay, and says, the Dragon Spiral Tower. This tower was built long before Unova came to be. And on the very top floor, a battle was fought between ideals and truth. He's arrived with Gigi. Interesting. Maybe it's at the Dragon Spiral Tower that you're unable to awaken. Zekrom? I wonder. Okay. See, y'all play with me now. Despite all that battling, Galvantula still has not leveled up to the same level as Braviary. Y'all played with me. Oh well, regardless. And I gotta tell you, when I was first introduced to Embor, I was not impressed. Because that was the thing about a lot of the Unova Pokemon, especially the starters. Just not really impressed with its final evolution. But actually spending time with it the way that we have, I think it's pretty cool. Still not my favorite of the starters. In fact, my favorite of the starters in terms of final evolution is even a little controversial to me personally. We'll get there when we get there. I'm more interested in how White has grown. But then again, I'm also interested in if Black's and this current evolution will be enough to beat back the forces of nature. Maybe one of them, but all three? I think not. I thought my throat was getting a little bit better, but every time I do one of the voices, it just like starts cracking. I was supposed to edit that out. Well, it is what it is. I've been trying my best not to leave any coughing in this. Whatever. Who's that Pokemon for this chapter is Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus, Part 2. It's adventure number 37, Finding the Truth. As Tornadus and Thundurus continue to hold the gym leaders in their vortex of destruction, Landorus looms over Black as Embor holds his trainer back, Black hollering out, "Let the gym leaders go!" The Shadow Triad mock him. "Ha! And who's gonna make us? Mere boy like you, Landorus?" And with a flick of its tail, Landorus knocks Embor and Black into the wall of the museum. I think it's the door. As they struggle to recover, the Shadow Triad turn back to the heavily injured gym leaders, saying, "We've captured the gym leaders. They set a trap for us, but in the end, they were no match for us." 3 members of Team Plasma come rushing out, saying, "Excuse us, we searched every corner of the museum, but the Darkstone is nowhere to be found." The Triads say, "Nowhere to be found?" Lilligant restrains Hawes, and Basculin threatens to bite his head off. The Triads tell him, "You're the assistant director of this museum, aren't you? Were you lying all along about the Darkstone being in your possession?" "No, that can't be right. There's a secret room around here somewhere, isn't there?" "Isn't there?" Basculin looms over Hawes' head, and he shrieks. Lenora, managing to regain consciousness, or maybe just maintain it, calls out from the vortex, "So you figured it out? You're right. There's a basement room where I store especially valuable bones and fossils, but the key to the room was destroyed by the attack of Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus." The Triads say, "What?" Lenora tells them, "See the entrance there? Go ahead and try this key in the lock if you don't believe me." As she tosses the key down and it falls to the ground, she says, "Oh, by the way, that basement is built like a bunker. You'll never be able to crack it open." The Triad command, "Tornadus, Thundurus, Landorus," and all 3 attack simultaneously, and the entrance barely suffers any damage. Lenora tells them, "What did I tell you? Now you'll never be able to get your hands on the Darkstone. Ironically, it seems that using such a powerful Pokemon has worked against you." Leave it to the sassy Black woman, one of the members says. "Why you?" But the leader stops him, saying, "No need to panic. There must be a way. And if we take the gym leaders back with us, there'll be no one left to interfere with our plans. Black, who has been pinned underneath Embor, who is unconscious, mind you, and eyes still full of rage, says, "No, wait!" The Triad members say, "Oh, I forgot about him. What should we do? Get rid of him?" "Don't bother. He's helpless on his own." The Triad commands the grunts, "Retreat!" And using Tornadus, Thunderous, and Landorus, the Shadow Triad create a sphere of violence to transport the gym leaders and Hawes away. Desperately, Black cries out, "Clay, Lenora, Berg, Elisa, Skyla, Bryson." Was that all of them? I'm questioning if he accidentally left somebody out, but from within the sphere of destruction, Lenora looks over to Black and gives a wink. Black doesn't know what to do as the storm of the trio takes off, carrying away the gym leaders. Black is at a loss. As he looks at the ground, he says, "We lost. They totally trounced us and kidnapped all the gym leaders to boot. What do I do now?" But then he realizes something, questioning, "That wink Lenora gave me, what did it mean?" "Kid, it means they have a backup plan." Wait, what? What? Was he not in the... How? Oh, did he root himself under the rocks? No way. Okay, Bryson, you are a friggin' G. Like, my God. Black says, "It was like she was telling me, you take care of the rest." Ooh, an All Might moment. That's what it looked like anyway. "Oh, I've got it." But suddenly, Black notices someone still standing after the turmoil. It's Bryson, saying, "Are you all right?" Dang, like steel, baby. As Bryson helps get Embor off of Black, Black questions, "Bryson, how did you escape?" Bryson tells him, "I slipped out while Lenora and the Shadow Triad were talking. They weren't paying attention. They got overconfident because they won the battle." Black wipes sweat away from his chin. "Oh, boy, I'm glad to see you." Bryson then questions, "Thanks. What were you saying just now?" Black tells him, "Oh yeah, Lenora said no one could enter the basement because the key was destroyed, but I think there's another way down there." Bryson questions, "What makes you say that?" As Black gets up, brushing dirt off its posterior, he sneakily says, "Because I got into the basement another way once before. The storage room in the basement is also the arena for Lenora's gym battles." Only someone who had actually known Lenora and had actually been able to get to her through all that complexity. It would take someone smart and clever to get all the way down there, where she would have everything stored. Ooh, cheeky. You know what, man? I gotta really give it to the Unova gym leaders, because so many of them are just clever. Just the planning, the tactics, the smarts, the ability, the thinking on their feet. It is absolutely incredible to see. I mean, I get it. A lot of the other gym leaders were taken off guard in a lot of their situation, trouble from within or something occurring behind the scenes and all that from unexpected places. But geez, these guys are really taking it to task with Team Plasma. Even though they were defeated, they're still not down and out. And this isn't even all of them. Black informs Bryson, "That's where I had my gym battle with Lenora. I guess Lenora used her personal entrance, the one with the broken key now, to get down there herself. The challengers have to solve a puzzle while walking through a maze of bookshelves to find the hidden entrance." Bryson says, "I had no idea Mastering Jim had a gimmick like that." Black tells him, "I should be able to get into the basement by following the same route I used last time. But Lenora did say it was as strong as a bunker. Maybe it's safer to just leave it there." Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. See, the worst thing is if it turns out that this isn't actually Bryson. Like, if it turns out this is one of the Shadow Triad in the skies, dude, I will lose my ish. Bryson tells him, "No, before they left, Team Plasma said, there must be a way. We have no way of knowing how soon they'll return with enough power to break through the walls of that bunker. I say we move the Dark Stone to a new hiding place as soon as we can." As Bryson and Black make their way inside, Black says, "Right." Bryson then asks, "Do you remember how to solve the maze?" No, I think this is Bryson, because the mangaka would want Bryson to have a moment with Black. Black has his Muna glomp onto his head, saying, "I'll give it a try. Musha." As Black clears his head, he thinks, I have to remember, that's it. First it was the bookshelf in the corner row, and as Black goes through, he says, 2 from the back, 1 to the left, 2 to the front. This was why the gym leaders asked me to participate in their plan, and why they told me to stay inside the museum. I'd had the gym battle at Nasreen Gym, so I know how to enter the secret basement, And I'm the only one who knows because I'm an ordinary Pokemon trainer. Nice. So, now that the gym leaders have been defeated, it's my job to protect the Darkstone. I've got to escape with the Darkstone. That's what Lenore was trying to tell me. As a secret entrance opens, Bryson says, yes, I see. Black makes his way down, but he's shocked when he sees the Darkstone on Lenore's desk. Oh, it was a setup. And how? Was Bryson deceived, or is he being controlled? Black says, found it. That's the Darkstone. Black turns to Bryson saying, right, Bryson? But it's not Bryson who responds. A very familiar figure calls out to N from the back. Right. It is indeed the Darkstone. Black calls out to the shadow behind Bryson. Huh? Who's there? Oh, what is that, a Basculin? No, not Basculin. Electros. There we go. I had Basculin on the mind. Suddenly, Electros comes leaping out from behind Bryson, stalking Black. Did it just consume his head and shock him? My God. Oh, it wasn't one of the triad. It was a grunt. My God. Dang. Even I was deceived. I called it from the beginning. It's just like, no, they want Bryson to have a moment with Black. No. Story, baby. Story. Black droops to the floor, questioning, Bryson, why? But the fake Bryson removes his disguise, revealing himself to be a Team Plasma grunt, saying, Bryson, there's no one here by that name. As Black falls to the floor, stunned, he says, Team Plasma, a disguise? The grunt walks over to the Darkstone, picks it up, presents it to the shadowy figure, saying, behold, the Darkstone, and he hands it off to his lord, Getsis, one of the 7 sages. Black strains, shouting, Getsis! And Getsis says, yes, I am Getsis of one of the 7 sages of Team Plasma. He looms over Black, smiling, saying, thank you. We would never have been able to enter the room without you. Black is shocked, saying, I led you straight to the Darkstone. But Getsis tells him, don't stand up. You need to get some rest, and it's not as if you can do anything to stop us now. I have no time to waste. We must be off immediately. I am sure our king will be most grateful. As the 2 members of Team Plasma ascend the stairs, Black can only struggle, watching them leave. The last words he can say before he falls unconscious. I failed. Cut to Getsis using his Hydreigon, to make his way over to the Dragon Spiral Tower. As he lands, he addresses N, saying, my king, I apologize for the long wait. I present to you the Darkstone. As N cradles the Darkstone, he smiles, saying, I have been waiting quite some time for you. The Dragon-type Pokemon from the founding of Unova, the deep black Pokemon of Ideal. Black then telepathically talks to Zekrom, saying, revive from the stone you transformed yourself into. Return to your true state. Unleash yourself. And together with me, N, we will create a utopian home for liberated Pokemon. My Zekrom. And with that, the deep black Pokemon Zekrom is unleashed. It looms overhead. As N smile. Oh, but Bryson did pull a trick. We then cut over to the captured gym leaders. Getsis radios over to the Shadow Triad, saying, it is I. The Triad says, Getsis. Getsis asks, where are you now? The Triad says, we're on our way to the castle. Getsis asks, what of the gym leaders? The Triad says, we have captured 6 of them, plus Lenore's husband. Uh-oh. Wait, this one is just an ice sculpture. As he looks at a carving of Bryson. Getsis says, what? The Triad tell him, my apologies, sir. One of them has escaped. Bryson, the gym leader of Isurus City. Getsis looks to the fake fake Bryson, saying, he's rather crafty, it seems. But the grunt who played the fake Bryson says, but unfortunately for him, it is already too late. As we see N communing with Zekrom. Zekrom's actually shorter than I thought it would be. Like, how tall is this thing supposed to be? 9'6". I mean, that's still stupidly tall, but, like, yeah. I thought it would be, like, big. But no, it's about the size of a Dragonite, or a Charizard. I'm so used to these legendaries being, like, colossal. You ride on it. Now, you can still ride on this the same way you would, like I said, a Charizard or a Dragonite, but it is remarkably smaller than I thought it was. Also, I find that weird head dealy it has kind of weird. Oh, and there's Bryson, making his way to the basement. He sees the fake mask and looks to the downed Black. He thinks to himself, someone disguised as me tricked Black and stole the Darkstone. By now it could already be turned back into Zekrom. Bryson goes over and accesses Lenora's computer. He gets in contact. Okay, I have no idea how to pronounce that. Hold on one moment. That word is Opelucid City? Opelucid? Is that it? Like opal? Opacious. Perlucid. Translucidity. Okay, so essentially Opelucid City. Opelucid City, I think. I hope. The Opelucid City, where the gym leader Drayden answers saying, Drayden speaking. I see. What about the other stone? Oh, she had it too. Bryson activates a button on Lenora's desk, revealing the Lightstone. Bryson tells Drayden, the Lightstone is here. Drayden responds, luckily they had no inkling that we kept the Lightstone at the same location. Hey, yeah. If you're trying to hide a tree, put it in the forest. If they awaken Zekrom from the Darkstone, the whole world is in peril. This wasn't a part of our plan, but if that's the case, we'll have to transform the Lightstone into the legendary vast white Pokémon that represents truth, Reshiram. I was wondering when it was gonna come into play, but suddenly, as Bryson is talking to Drayden, the Lightstone rolls out of the safe, down the stairs from Lenora's desk, as Drayden is still saying, after that, and then, Bryson, the Lightstone rolls over towards Black. Drayden calls out, what's wrong, Bryson? Are you listening to me? But Bryson is pondering what he's seen. Drayden then says, oh, no. Bryson says, that's fine. I'm counting on you, Drayden. He then proceeds to pick up Black, saying, I have no idea what's going to happen now, but whatever it is, looks like I have no choice but to train you. It's going to be really tough. I hope you can keep up, kid. It's wild that I was both wrong and right, all within the same chapter, saying, man, I would think that they would want Bryson to at least have a little bit of a moment with Black. Sure enough, we still had to move the plot along too. Yeah, I gotta give it to him. That was good. That was a good little bit of misdirect. Good stuff. Because we had to have a moment where Black earns that next badge too. Everything just kind of has to play out just so. I do not envy the person writing this story, because all the dominoes have to line up just right to get you just where you need to go. Alright, this half of the recording is coming a few days after the last half. My body was not doing well. I laugh about it now, but my body's still not doing well. Mostly because I still had to go to my day job, so Jesus, bear with me. I'm in a lot of pain for a lot of reasons. But voice is a little bit better, unless you enjoyed that deep voice. Yeah, I don't think I could pull that off like I did before. Sorry. If you were enjoying the deep voice, sorry. Alright, the Who's That Pokemon for this chapter is Cryagonal, and it's adventure number 38. Decision. The barely conscious Black is awoken to a sudden rumbling all around him. He looks around questioning, huh? Whoa, where am I? A voice calls out to him saying, the Two-Blind Bridge. Oh, Bryson and a doctor? Bryson says, the bridge the battle subway runs through. We're on top of it. I wonder if we're gonna run into White soon. Black shouts, You traitor! But Bryson just throws the fake headband in his face. As Black looks at it, Bryson says, I found this near you when I arrived at Lenora's secret room. Tell me what happened back there. Black thinks about it and says, oh, it's all coming back to me now. He tells him, Team Plasma tricked me with an imposter of you, and Getsis stole the Darkstone. Bryson says, as I'm sure you know, all the gym leaders who were present during the robbery have been kidnapped, apart from me. We were going to launch a direct assault on the enemy headquarters to bring an end to all this, but the odds are against us now. Black is still kneeling on the ground, his hands trembling, I guess with a little bit of anger and sadness. He says, it's all because I was so careless. I have to go rescue them. He goes to rush off, but he finds himself unable to move forward. He looks down finding his leg trapped by Cryagonal. Black says, huh? What is this, Bryson? Bryson says, isn't it obvious? It's Cryagonal's ice chain. I don't want you to run away. Black questions, run away? Is it some kind of joke? Bryson simply tells him, no, it's part of your training today. Black questions, training? Bryson tells him, well, asks him, do you know where Team Plasma's so-called castle is located? Are you strong enough to defeat an enemy with the power to capture all those gym leaders in one fell swoop? Asking the real questions. Let's see if you can break free of that ice chain first. If you can't even do that, there's no point in attempting any dramatic rescue mission. Black says, okay, fine, I'll show you what I've got. And he brings out his Embor. I'll burn through this ice chain with a fire-type move. Do it. But as Embor goes to do that, he ends up burning Black's legs. Well, his one leg. Black says, whoa, stop. As Black blows out the fire, he says, it's no use. You'll roast my leg before you melt the chain, Knight. Huh. Since you evolved out, I give you a new nickname. He looks over the Pokédex, which reads, Embor, the Mega Fire Pig Pokemon. It can throw a fire punch by setting its fist on fire with its fiery chin. It cares deeply about its friends. Aww, Embor fights for his friends. Black says, Embor, huh? And I'll call you, Bo from now on. Nicknaming on the fly. Bryson says, good name. You should train it to be a martial arts king. You've got others with you. I'll come up with a different training regimen for you. Your Muna, Galvantula, and Tortuga. Bring them out. And Black does just that. Bryson then says, my Vanillish will be in charge of training these 3 Pokemon. You can build on your failure by realizing that what you lack and honing your skills to improve. Both you and your Pokemon could get injured during this training. If that happens, feel free to ask my personal doctor to tend to you. Oh, okay. Doctor gives a little bit of a bow. Bryson goes to walk off, saying, take care of the rest for me. And the doctor says as he examines Black, for starters, I'll heal your burn. Oh, okay, as Bryson makes his way off the bridge, we see Drayden sitting on a bench. Buff Grandpa. I guess one would call him a gilf, if you will. He says, good job, Bryson. Bryson questions, I'm not sure about that. Am I doing the right thing? Drayden questions, what are you worried about? The other stone, the light stone, rolled over to that kid, right? Just as the dark stone is Zekrom. The light stone is Reshiram. Bryson pulls the light stone out of his sleeve, saying, there is a possibility that he was chosen. Drayden finishes saying, to be the hero. It's no ordinary stone after all. The legendary Pokemon chose that boy. It wouldn't hurt to prepare ourselves with that possibility in mind. Bryson doesn't respond, and Drayden continues on saying, I agree that you should train him. That's why I brought him here in the first place. Without the other gym leaders to count on, I have high expectations for that boy. He's earned 6 gym badges already. As we see Black and Embor struggling with Cryagonal's chain, Bryson then says, but turning the Lightstone back into Reshiram, asking him to carry that burden, that's another story altogether. Drayden, you're the gym leader of Opelucid City, an expert on Dragon-type Pokemon. Clay dug up the Lightstone and the Darkstone together. Oh, both were there. Interesting. When Lenora heard about it, she immediately recalled the legend of Unova and purposely spread news about the Darkstone's discovery, using all the media attention to hide the fact that the Lightstone had been secretly brought to her museum. After that, she asked you to find out more about the 2 stones. Interesting. Oh man, shoot, again. The gym leaders just on top of it at every turn. Even when they were in a losing situation, they still knew what was up. The gym leaders trust you to decide what to do with the remaining stones. But personally, I still have my doubts. I've heard that both Zekrom and Reshiram transformed into these stones of their own free will, sealing themselves in bodies of stone for some reason. Is forcing that seal open again really the right thing to do? Actually a valid question, and there should be a reason why these Pokemon did that. Isn't that just what evil Team Plasma wants? Drayden question, are you suggesting we take no countermeasures against Zekrom or Team Plasma? That we just let them trample all over us? Ooh, you can see a bit of tension between Drayden and Bryson. I gotta tell you, I wasn't expecting this. Some of the stuff that I've seen of Bryson kind of makes him out to be a bit of a goofball, but dang, this is a bit of intense. Oh, gee, whoa, whoa. This is how men talk. Threatening without threatening. Like, give me a good answer, or we might have to go right here and now. You then have Iris peeking over the corner with her axe to you. That's right, her axe to you, right? Oh, fracture. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I knew that before. I guess I keep thinking that it's smaller than what I'm looking at. Iris comes over and pats Bryson on the back and then pats Drayden's leg, saying, now, there. You both have to calm down and get along with each other. Drayden gives a bit of a smile, saying, this is Iris. She's training under me to become a dragon-type Pokemon expert. Personally, I think she's as skilled as that boy. That's why I brought her with me. Ooh, interesting. And if you know anything about Iris, but Bryson turns away, saying, that's fine. Drayden then asks, where are you going? Bryson simply says, to find the headquarters of Team Plasma, their castle. I have to figure out where it's located. Meanwhile, back with Black and Embor and Cryogonal's chain, Black says, okay, Bo, the ice chain is created by Cryogonal. As soon as we defeat Cryogonal, we'll be free of this chain. Black tells Embor to use Flamethrower, but as a train comes rumbling underneath, Embor losing its footing, ended up burning Black a little bit. Black says, nuts, the train keeps arriving and messing up our aim just as we're about to attack. Try again, now's our chance. As Embor unleashes a flamethrower against Cryogonal, Cryogonal begins to disappear. Black says, it disappeared? Black brings out his Pokedex, and the entry reads, Cryogonal, a crystallizing Pokemon. When his body temperature goes up, it turns into steam and vanishes. When its temperature lowers, it returns to ice. Oh, that is interesting. Black says, no, wait. Bo's fire turns his body into steam, and now it's gone? How could we fight it if we can't even see our opponent? As Cryogonal starts to return, Embor gets ready to attack. But Black stops it, saying, stop. It's only going to make things harder for us if you breathe fire on it. It's no use. Temp hated to lose. Night was reckless. And Bo is like both of them put together. As a matter of fact, Bo is worse. There it is. But Embor attacks regardless, and Cryogonal disappears. Black says, listen to me, Bo. It won't do any good to attack it with fire. Cryogonal appears behind Embor, and so Embor just swings on it, smacking it down. Well, smacking it away. Black says, hammer on. He then thinks it won't disappear. Any type moves don't make it disappear. And Black realizes, remembering Bryson's words, saying, you should train it to be a martial arts king. Black says, martial arts, fighting. We're not supposed to be using fire type moves. We're supposed to be using fighting type moves. Bo, do it again. Hammer arm. And Embor unleashes another hammer arm, knocking back Cryogonal. Black says, great. Oh, Bo's arm. The Cryogonal is so cold it freezes Bo's arm with Bo's punch. When Bo punches it, yep, and Cryogonal goes on the offensive, hitting Embor with several shards of ice. Black says, Bo seems to be taking this fight pretty seriously. As Embor gets ready again, wiping away the ice shards, Black says, hold it, Bo. Our primary goal isn't to have a Pokemon battle right now. Black holds up his leg, saying, this is our goal. This chain around my leg. You have to smash it with your fists. But be careful not to smash my leg along with it. God. And as another train comes through, Black says, on top of it, you have to do it on top of this bridge that shakes every time the train passes by. Can you do it, Bo? You're going to become a martial arts king. This is the first step to mastering your new battle style. Black sits down, saying, I trust you. I know you've got what it takes. We come this far together. You can do it with your power and precision. Go for it. And that is the thing. Ever since the beginning, Bo has been one who has had an incredible amount of speed and power, and it really knew how to apply it when it counted. Now that it's a bit of a bigger brawler, now that counts the most. Using power and precision. Ooh, that could be deadly. Black says, I want you to trust me too. Says, come on, do it, Bo. If anything goes wrong, the doctor over there will fix me up. Don't worry about it. Embor, obviously nervous, looks over to the doctor, who's at the ready, and he readies himself. Black readies himself as well. And, of course, as a train conveniently comes running in, just as Embor goes in for the strike, Embor hits the chain and shatters only the chain. The doctor putting back his stethoscope. Black says, you did it, Bo. All right, good stuff, good stuff. He's making his way. Okay, and the last chapter for this video, the Who's That Pokemon is Tortuga, and it's adventure number 39, School of Hard Knocks. We pick up at the Dragon Spiral Tower, where Bryson enters with his Beartic? Yep, Beartic. Bryson says as he looks around, according to Drayden's investigation, this is the place for those who want to learn about the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon, but it's nothing but a huge maze to me. How am I supposed to find anything here? As Bryson makes his way to the top, he says the top floor. Burn marks. They're fresh. A footprint. So this is where you reclaimed your form, Zekrom. Bryson continues to look around. He thinks to himself, can't find any other trace of them. Where's Team Plasma's headquarters? This place they call their castle. Ruins, caves, abandoned houses, buildings under construction. I've searched structures where large numbers of people could easily come and go, but I haven't found hide nor hair of them. Not a sign of Clay, Lenora, Elisa, Skyla, Bird. Are you? And then cut back over to the two-blind bridge, where Black has managed to break through Cryogonal's chain. Well, more specifically, Embor. Black cheers, saying, you did it, Bo. We made it through Bryson's training session. But suddenly, Black has a feeling and just screams, ow! And now the pain sets in. The doctor comes over saying, oh dear, I'll tend to your wounds right away. Black says, thanks, Dr. The man says, Logan. Dr. Logan. Only for Drayden to come up clapping as Black gets examined, saying, impressive. You managed to shatter Cryogonal's ice chain. Black says, and you are the mayor and gym leader of Opelucid City, Drayden. Seriously, more gym leaders should be mayors. But then again, that's not for everyone. Iris comes over saying, remember me? Black says, oh, you're that kid I met in Castelia City. Iris says, kid? I've been training for longer than you. I'll have you know. Black says, training longer than me? Drayden says, Opelucid Gym is famous as a gym for those who want to master handling dragon-type Pokemon. Iris began training with me about a year ago now. Also, she helped me with my research on that legendary dragon-type Pokemon Lenora mentioned. That's why I sent Iris to Castelia City. They were holding a Legends of Unova region exhibition, which included a number of exhibits about dragon-type Pokemon. Black says, well, it's not like you automatically got better the longer you train. For all I know, you haven't learned a thing over the past year. Dang, that is the most shade I have ever seen Black throw. Iris says, you're so obnoxious. I'm actually surprised. Usually there's not that much prickliness between him and someone else. I mean, sometimes he could be a little bit mad towards someone and feel like this. They're like, I don't vibe with this person. But this is a bit much for me. Iris says, you just watch me. Drayden, may I challenge you to a battle? Drayden says, very well. Drayden brings out Duuz-Diz-Din, which should be a lot more of an impressive Pokemon to me than it is. It's a chili pepper, man. Or is it a habanero? I always forget. And Iris brandishes her Fracture, and as the two face off, Iris tells her Fracture to go, and both her and her Fracture are easily wiped away by Duuz-Din's Dragon Tail. They then pick themselves off, pat themselves down, and Iris says, and there you have it. I couldn't contain that one. I keep trying to edit out my calls, but I guess I'll keep that one in. Black is utterly blown away. Maybe later, Drayden comes over saying, nice work, Duuz-Din. Duuz-Din then eyes Black and a shiver runs down his spine. Black then looks over to his Embor saying, Duuz-Din gives off such an intense vibe. Bo felt it too. I'm going to collect all my badges to enter the Pokemon League. I'll have to face this gym leader. The way things are going, will they even hold the Pokemon League this year? Dr. What was it again? Logan comes over saying, Black. Black says, huh? Logan says, you managed to escape from the ice chain that Bryson set as your goal. Your Tortuga, Luna, and Galvantula all succeed in defeating the Vanillish. This ends your training session at the Two-Blind Bridge. We have to move on to your next session. Come on, let's go. Black questions, next session? Drayden then chimes in saying, Black, take Iris with you. I'm sure she'll learn a lot from your training as well. Black says, what? While Iris cheerfully says, thanks. Oh God, in this intense moment, Drayden just comes over and grabs Black by his shoulders. I know it's probably a lot more kindly, but Drayden's insanely jacked arms throws me off. The funny thing is, wait, how do we know how tall Drayden is? Oh, they say about 7 feet. Oh God, that's even bigger than I thought. Oh no, taller than 5'11". So yeah, okay, because he's taller than a Haxorus, at least a little bit. Taller than a Haxorus and a Dragonite. Okay, yeah, because I know somebody with Drayden's body type. It is. And a lot of outside media outside of the games love to make him even more jacked looking too. Because honestly speaking, a lot of what you see for the games, like he's generously jacked. And even the anime, it's just like, okay, he's not overly muscular, but the manga and the Pokemon Generations anime, they definitely lean a lot further into the just, this dude is yoked. Drayden says, and Black, I'm counting on you. I want you to become the truth to fight against the ideal. That's an interesting way of putting it. As Drayden walks off, Black is at a loss for words. So as he makes his way with Logan and Iris, Black asks, so what's next? Logan looks through the itinerary chart saying, according to the orders I received from Bryson, but another train comes. Oh no, not a train. A biker gang? Really? Complete with a straggly with their leader. What the heck? Black says, biker gang. But Logan says, come on, let's go, Black. Black says, but how are we going to? But the biker gang says, hey kid, you want to cross this bridge? Black says, yes. The leader says, oh yeah? Who gave you permission? Oh God, it's a shakedown. Black questions, since when do I need permission? And who would I ask anyway? The biker gang leader says, me, you asked for my permission. My name's Jeremy, leader of the Black Empoleon biker gang. Black Empoleon? I mean, not to diss Empoleon, but who chooses an Empoleon as their biker gang sigil? Like, of all the Pokemon you could choose, like, at least go for the Infernape, man. Like, if you're choosing Pokemon for the last generation, Infernape, Luxray, a Garchomp, Gliscor. Like, there are much more intimidating looking Pokemon. I mostly just named my most favorite from the last generation. And to give up a few of my favorite from this generation, Haxorus, Zoroark. Come on. Yeah, it ain't a lot. Black says, let's go another way, Logan. No point wasting time on these losers. But Logan says, you can't do that. Black questions, why not? Logan says, because this is your next training session. Dang, detailed. According to the list Bryson gave me, Session 1, escape from ice chain around his leg. Session 2, defeat 3 Vanillish. Session 3, defeat biker gang to cross Tube Line Bridge. I guess it was something that Bryson was maybe tasked with. He's just like, if he can do it. That's what it says. Black says, no way. But Jeremy shouts, hey, you want a piece of us? Bring it on. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang says, that kid thinks he's gonna beat us? Ever since our second in command left, everyone and his grandma wants to challenge us. When our second in command and his ducklet were an invincible pair. Hey, what's he doing now? I heard he left to let go of his ducklet, and the other says, whoa, seriously? Oh, he got taken in by T-Plasma. Jeremy then shouts, will you guys shut up? Shut it. It's time to show this kid how tough we are. The rest of the gang says, yeah. They all go racing in. And Jeremy says, the Tube Line Bridge at night is the last stomping ground for Black Empoleon. Squash that kid flat. The others ride in saying, yeah, only for their bikes to be yoinked out from under them. I know not how it was done. What the? Oh, they're being hoisted into the air. Okay. All their bikes are hoisted into the air. The bikers sent flying. Jeremy questions, what the? As we see Galvantula just bringing all of their bikes up with its webbing. Jeremy says, that Galvantula. Black says, I had Tula attach thread of spiderweb to each of your bikes while you were shouting at us. Black then thinks, Tula tripped up more than a dozen bikes charging towards me at top speed and pulled them up off the ground. Tula's gotten stronger. Which decided to turn on for some reason. Maybe I'll get Scarlet. No, Violet. Maybe. I have a hankering to play a Pokemon game. Even if it maybe isn't the best. But Galvantula drops all the bikes, well, in the vicinity of the bikers, not directly on top of them, but those bikes are destroyed. The bikers panic, my machine! I haven't finished paying off my loan on it. Ooh, that's rough, buddy. My mom bought it for me, She gonna be so mad. Aw, that is kind of rough. But you were doing bad things with it. Oh, I get it. I didn't realize before, but his bike looks like an Empoleon. That's actually kind of cool. You know what? I take it back. That is a pretty sick design. And it's about to get trashed. A custom job like that also costs a pretty penny, too. Ooh, baby. Jeremy comes rolling in. I'll show you how tough the leader of this gang is. Is Scraggy at the ready? Only for his bike to come to a stop. Jeremy goes, huh? I'm out of gas. I filled this baby up with deluxe high octane on the way here. There's no way it could be empty. Oh, what the heck? Black says, ever heard of a move called teleport? Ew. My Musha teleported the gas from your bike into your leather pants. Oh no. Ew, you better hope he doesn't attack with Embor next, or you're gonna be a liar pants on fire. Well, it'd be more than a fire. It'd be an explosion. You'd be lucky to still have a bottom half after that. Jeremy says, I should have gone with unleaded gas. Sick of Scraggy. And as Scraggy goes in, in a very rare listening moment, Tortuga listens to Black as he says, Costa Hydro Pump. Scraggy manages to dodge, but feels so wild. It's the same thing Lance does with his dragon type Pokemon's Hyper Beam. Is it just Tortuga who can do this? Tortuga. The Hydro Pump curves. So weird. Jeremy says, what the? The stream of water just changed direction? Oh god, yeah, it's moving like one of Lance's Pokemon's Hyper Beam. The heck? I mean, I get it. Tortuga has a lot of years in his belt, but my god. Jeremy looks like his Scraggy trying to hold up his pants. And he tries to run away with his Scraggy saying, oh no, his Scraggy runs towards him. And Jeremy runs from his Scraggy saying, whoa, don't come near me. And they're both hit with the Hydro Beam. Jeremy says, okay, I get the message. You're free to cross the bridge. I won't trouble you again, and from this day on, I'll change the name of our gang to Black Tortuga. Really? Oh my god. Dr. Logan then says, their training session cleared. And as they walk away from the bridge, Black says, wow, that's the Tube Line Bridge where I battled. Iris says, you can also get a good view of the battle subway from here, the one that caused you all that trouble. Black says, the battle subway? I wonder how the boss is doing. Even now he thinks about her. Ooh, so cute. I am wondering how she's doing too. But considering the level of her Pokemon, she's doing pretty well. Almost level 30 Pokemon? I mean, at the very least, getting her Deerling that far along. Like, shoot. I'm so tempted to keep going. Embor has reached level 40. Good stuff. I gotta say, that face-off with the Shadow Triad was very fun. The twists and turns and the directions that it went in. I loved that a good enough amount of the gym leaders had these little moments. I will say, Elisa feels like she's had the least amount of spotlight out of most of the gym leaders, though. That feels like the biggest downside, but it's mostly just because it feels like her moments happened the most with White. Mostly, I'm saying the situation with the show and everything. That was the most standout moment. But Berg had several chances to shine. Lenora, especially, they've done some great things with Lenora, Clay. Skyla had her little moment, which I felt kind of apprehensive about at first, but with more time to stew on and having talked about it or reading a comment from Steven over on Patreon, I appreciate it a lot more in hindsight. Bryson is a G, Drayden is a G, Iris is getting her moment now too, alongside the protagonist, which is kind of cool. That's a great way of doing things. I love it. And only now that I actually think about the gym leaders, where the hell is Salon, Cress, and Chili? They had that moment where they were drinking tea and getting ready to go. Did they infiltrate Team Plasma? Because I'm just like, okay, there's definitely gym leaders missing. And I mostly thought, okay, it's Drayden. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not all the gym leaders. Wait a minute, because there's even more gym leaders than just what we've seen. Ooh, they up to something sneaky. Ooh, I think they're up to something sneaky. I forgot all about them. Because it's not because they're bad, it's just that they were so early on. And when you had all the other gym leaders show up, it's just like, okay, everyone's here. But they're like, no. this region has the most gym leaders at one point. 10. No, wait a minute. Because Iris isn't a gym leader yet as far as I know here. Oh man, they are about to flagoozy something. Oh, I can't wait to see how this turns out. But man, that moment where all the gym leaders got captured, intense. Because it wasn't even like they got just punked. I gotta admit, sometimes I kind of hate it when the gym leaders just get punked by just the average mooks, because it's just like, no. They should at least be as strong as an admin, you know, that come on. Sometimes even double teaming an admin and they still get punked out. It's just like, come on, guys. But when it's the result of a legendary or a mythical, it's just like, okay, I can believe it. Like in Johto, when the gym leaders were trying to fight against, no, not Johto. Hoenn. When Hoenn was everyone was trying to fight against Kyogre and Groudon. It's just like, yeah, it's understandable that they get beaten. It just kind of sucked that so many of them got punked out by the admins. And it showed off the strength of the admins, but, you know, them not being able to overcome them was okay. You know, with the Kanto region, it was fun because there was the split down the middle of Rocket admins and the regular gym leaders in terms of all the gym leaders. The good gym leaders versus the bad gym leaders. You know, that was a good divvying up of things. Johto was fun because we had a evildoer in our midst, and that could really undermine a lot of what they were trying to do. You know, Hoenn, a lot of the gym leaders there got punked. I'm sorry. I love the storyline. It was great. And the fight against the legendaries was just like, yeah, it made sense that they had no chance and it was all they could do to hold their ground. But I feel like they really got punked out of a lot of stuff, especially like Roxanne and all that. Like, but bad guys, gotta just roll with that. They were bad guys doing bad things. The Sinnoh gym leaders, them coming together was fun. That was a lot of fun. But it did kind of suck when they were just completely out of the action for not just the end of the series that they fought in, but the following series in Platinum. It's just like, dang it, at least let them get in on some action towards the end. That was unfortunate, because outside of like Volkner and Byron, everybody else was just done. And it was a shame because I really grew to love a lot of them, especially the Underdressed Girls Club with Platinum, Maylene, and Candace. But here, the way the gym leaders kind of got the rug pulled out from under them made sense, but at the same time, it's even more interesting because they still had backup plans. You know, it's not looking the best, but there's still such a sense of we still have a hope, but it's a slim chance in hell, but it's a chance, so we got to take it. And I just love those moments. Now the question is, what is N currently doing with Zekrom? Where did they go? What are they up to? Did he go to the league already? How does that work? Because N is like directly after what Black is after, but for all the worst kinds of reasons. And Reshiram immediately choosing Black? I mean, chosen one syndrome, but at the same time, why not? There's an ambitious heart in the boy. N sees everything in black. Black sees everything in white. Ironically enough, I guess you could a way of saying it, but everyone's on a good path. But I'm ready to pick up with what White is up to. And she's on the cover of the dang volume. Let's back up with White. Thank you very much. Love Black's whole main character thing, but you got me endeared to White, and I want to see her journey along the way. It's Pokemon Black and White. Look, come on, let's get our girl back in there. She making them games. Come on. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Sorry you probably had to wait quite a while for this one, but still in the process of recovering. No thanks to my job, but I got a long weekend, so I'm going to try to crank out the videos where I can. But also have the mother-in-law coming over, so we'll see. Ooh. Actually, yeah, that made my voice drop a little deeper. Wasn't ready for that. Okay, until next time. I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and bye-bye.